Wouldn't you say you have a family member that resembles Junior? I think he resembles his mother mostly, but I do see some characteristics of Jonathan. So unless they bamboozled me, honey. Did Nevaeh threaten Jaden? I didn't like that. Nevaeh seems to be a nice young lady, but that could be a representative, because I don't understand why people's first thought when they don't like what somebody says is to want to whoop their ass. That's where my telekinesis go off, because it's like, how you gonna beat up your baby's kid's sibling's mother? What would make you want to do that? Why did he claim the child? He claiming the child he with right now, too. Ain't he claiming the new child that he...
Wait, good. Where you going? Hey. Give me this.
Yeah, when she ordered it one by one, it's still... Each one of one.
Because usually when you bring the guys,
but when I bring the guys, the promoter already took care of it. I just bring them. It's already in the system, right? I never had to do anything.
Hey, I love the love. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. But it's still gonna come up more money. Yeah, that's $100 right there. So I'm gonna call customer service.
Won't you call customer service and see how we can make it work?
And they want to see, right? That's already $300 right there. Where you going? Where you going?
You know it's about to get messy when one sentence, just one sentence, sends the entire internet into a full-blown meltdown, like somebody pulled the fire alarm in a packed stadium. And this time, that sentence came straight from Karlissa. And it hit harder than a surprise plot twist in the final episode. Because the moment she said, "That baby looks just like Blueface," everything changed. Not slowly, not quietly, but instantly. Timelines froze, group chats exploded, and suddenly everybody turned into a DNA expert overnight. I'm talking about people zooming in on baby pictures like they were analyzing crime scene. Evidence.now. Let's be real. This isn't just a casual comment. This is gasoline thrown on a fire that was already burning. Because we're talking about Chrisean Rock, a situation that's been under a microscope, and a storyline that never stays calm for more than 5 minutes. And then you add Karlissa stepping in with that statement, "Oh yeah, chaos was guaranteed." The internet didn't just react, it split in half. One side screaming, "She said what we were all thinking." The other side like, "Oh no, here we go again." And the wild part, this isn't even about proof anymore. It's about perception. It's about opinions. It's about who people believe. Because once that statement went viral, it wasn't just a comment. It became a headline, a debate, a full-blown online war. Suddenly, every clip, every photo, every angle got dragged into the conversation. People weren't just watching anymore. They were investigating. But here's where it gets even crazier. Because behind all the noise, all the memes, all the arguments, there's something deeper happening. This isn't just about what Karlissa said, it's about what her words triggered. Because now the internet isn't asking if there's drama. They're asking what's coming next. And if you know anything about this situation, you already know this is just the beginning. Now let's rewind for a second. because this didn't just come out of nowhere like a random comment in the middle of silence. The situation between Chrisean Rock and Blueface has been messy LONG before. Karlissa ever stepped in with that statement. This isn't new drama. This is a continuation of a storyline that's been spiraling for what feels like forever. From the very beginning, their relationship has been loud, unpredictable, and completely unfiltered. We're talking about arguments that turned into viral, clips, emotional moments that turned into headlines, and situations that had the internet choosing sides like it was a championship game. Every time things looked like they might settle down, something else popped off and dragged everything right back into chaos. Then came the pregnancy, and that's when things really started to shift. Not in a calm, peaceful way, more like the calm before a storm that everyone could feel coming but nobody could fully predict. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about relationship drama anymore. Now there was a baby involved, and that instantly raised the intensity of everything. At first, people were watching closely but cautiously. Some fans hoped this would be the turning point, the moment where things finally slowed down and became more stable. Others, they were already skeptical, watching everything like, yeah, we've seen how this plays out. And honestly, both sides had their reasons, because the history here isn't simple. It's layered, complicated, and filled with moments that made people question everything. So even when things looked calm on the surface, there was always that underlying tension. Like something could flip at any second. Then the baby arrived, and for a brief moment, the internet softened. And I mean really softened. People who were once arguing suddenly started posting heart emojis. Clips of the baby started circulating, and for a second, it felt like the narrative might actually change. Like maybe this would be the chapter where things take a different direction. And you could see it, people wanted to believe that. But, of course, this is the internet we're talking about. Nothing stays simple for long. Because as soon as those baby clips started gaining traction, the questions started creeping in. People weren't just watching anymore, they were analyzing. Every little detail became a talking point. Expressions, features, reactions, everything got picked apart like it was evidence in a courtroom. And that's when the conversation slowly shifted from awe to hold on. Now people weren't just enjoying the moment, they were comparing, they were debating, they were forming opinions. And let's be real, once the internet starts comparing faces, it's over. There's no going back. Suddenly, everybody becomes a genetics expert, pointing out similarities, making bold claims, and acting like they've cracked some kind of code. So by the time Karlissa stepped in and said what she said, the ground was already shaking. Her comment didn't start the fire, it poured fuel on something that was already building. Because people were already thinking it, already whispering it, already hinting at it. She just said it out loud. And the second she did that, everything escalated. Now it wasn't just speculation anymore. It was a full-blown conversation. Fans jumped in, critics jumped in, even people who weren't paying attention before suddenly got pulled into the drama. Because when a statement like that goes viral, it doesn't stay in one corner of the internet, it spreads everywhere. And here's where things get even more intense. The reactions. Some people were agreeing instantly, saying it's obvious, saying the resemblance is undeniable. Others were pushing back hard, calling it unnecessary, saying it's messy to even bring that up publicly. And just like that, the internet split into two completely different narratives. But no matter which side people were on, one thing was clear. This situation wasn't slowing down anytime soon. Because now, every new post, every new clip, every new appearance was going to be viewed through a completely different lens. The conversation had shifted, and once that happens, there's no resetting it. And the craziest part, we were only at the beginning of this new chapter. Because if there's one thing this situation has proven over and over again, it's that every time you think you've seen the peak of the drama, something even bigger comes right after. And just when you thought Karlissa's comment had already done enough damage, oh no, that was just the opening scene. Because the second that statement went viral, the internet didn't just react. It went into full chaos mode like somebody dropped a bomb in the middle of a reality show reunion. Now timelines weren't just reacting. They were choosing sides. On one side, you had the she said what everybody was thinking crowd. These people wasted zero time. They were screenshotting baby pictures, lining them up next to Blueface photos like it was a side-by-side comparison. Challenge? I'm talking zoom-ins, slow-motion edits, arrows pointing at facial features like this was a detective documentary. Meanwhile, the other side. Oh, they were not having it. They were calling the whole situation messy, unnecessary, and straight-up disrespectful. For them, it wasn't about resemblance, it was about boundaries. They were like, why are we even having this conversation? Publicly, and honestly, the tension between these two sides. It felt like a WWE tag team match where nobody was backing down. And then, of course, the memes arrived. Because you already know the internet can't handle serious drama without turning it into comedy at the same time. 1 minute it's deep debates, the next minute it's wild comparisons, exaggerated jokes, and edits that have people laughing while still being completely invested. It was messy, chaotic, and weirdly entertaining all at once. But here's where things started getting even more complicated. Contradictions. Because while some clips and photos had people saying, okay, yeah, I see it, others had people completely disagreeing. And the internet hates when things don't line up perfectly. The second there's inconsistency, people start digging deeper, questioning everything, and building theories that spread faster than facts. And now it wasn't just about Karlissa's comment anymore. It became a full narrative, because once the conversation shifted, everything got pulled into it. Old clips resurfaced, past statements got brought back. And suddenly people were connecting dots from months ago like they were solving a mystery that never got an ending. And right in the middle of all this, Chrisean Rock. Now the spotlight wasn't just on the baby or Karlissa's words. It was on her every move, every reaction. Every moment of silence or response became a headline. People were watching closely, trying to read between the lines, trying to figure out what she might say or what she might not say. And let's be honest, silence on the internet, that's louder than any statement, because when someone doesn't respond immediately, people start filling in the blanks themselves, assumptions start flying, narratives start building, and before you know it, the story takes on a life of its own. Meanwhile, the pressure kept building, because once something like this reaches viral level, it doesn't just disappear. It grows, it evolves, it spreads into different audiences, different platforms, pulling in people who weren't even paying attention before. And now, everybody has an opinion. And the craziest part, everyone thinks they're right. Some people are fully convinced they've figured it out just by looking at clips and photos. Others are calling out the entire conversation as unnecessary drama. And then you've got the middle group, the ones just watching, waiting, knowing that something else is probably about to happen. Because if this situation has taught us anything, it's that nothing stays in one lane for long. A comment turns into a debate turns into a full-blown online war. And before you know it, the story is way bigger than where it started. And right now, that's exactly where we are. Because behind all the noise, all the arguments, all the viral moments, there's still something unresolved, something that hasn't been fully addressed yet. And the longer that stays unclear, the bigger the speculation gets. So now the question isn't just about what Karlissa said, it's about what happens next. Because the internet is watching closely, waiting for a response, a reaction, or a twist that flips everything again. And if this follows the same pattern it always has, then what's coming next might be even more explosive than what we've already seen. And just like that, the situation didn't cool down, it evolved into something even more intense. Because once the internet locks onto a narrative like this, it doesn't just move on, it digs deeper, waits longer, and watches closer. And right now, everybody is watching. Chrisean Rock like the next move is about to change everything. Because here's the reality, Karlissa's comment didn't just spark a moment. It created expectation that now people aren't just reacting to what was said. They're waiting to see what happens next. Will there be a response, a clapback, a confirmation? Or complete silence that only makes things louder? And in a situation like this, every option comes with consequences. At the same time, the emotional side of the internet is still holding on to that softer narrative. The same people who saw those sweet moments with the baby are now caught in a tug-of-war between what they felt and what they're seeing unfold. Because it's hard to hold onto something pure when the conversation around it keeps getting pulled into chaos. But then comes the other side, the side that thrives on patterns. And if there's one thing people have learned from this entire saga involving Blueface, it's that history has a way of repeating itself. Every calm phase has been followed by something unexpected. Every quiet moment has turned into a headline. So naturally, people are sitting back like, yeah, we know what's coming. And that's where the tension really starts building. Because now, every move feels like a setup. Every post feels intentional. Every silence feels calculated. Whether that's actually true or not doesn't even matter anymore. The internet has already decided that everything means something. Meanwhile, the pressure behind the scenes is probably at an all-time high. Because imagine trying to navigate real-life emotions while millions of people are analyzing your every move like it's part of a scripted show. One wrong move, one misunderstood moment, and suddenly everything explodes again. That kind of spotlight doesn't just watch, it magnifies. And here's where things take an even more unpredictable turn, the shift in public perception. Because at first, this was just about a comment, then it became a debate. Now it's shaping how people view the entire situation moving forward. Opinions are being formed, sides are being chosen, and reputations are being influenced in real time. Some people are doubling down on their beliefs, convinced they've figured everything out. Others are stepping back, realizing how quickly things can spiral and questioning whether they even want to be part of the conversation anymore. But no matter where people stand, they're still watching because this story hasn't reached its peak yet. Not even close. And then comes the wildest part, the possibility of a twist nobody saw coming. Because if there's one thing this entire situation has proven, it's that the biggest moments don't come when people expect them. They come out of nowhere, flip the narrative, and leave everyone scrambling to catch up. And right now, it feels like we're right on the edge of one of those moments. Some are predicting a response that changes everything. Others are expecting silence that makes things even louder. And a few, they're waiting for something completely unexpected. But no matter what happens next, this moment has already changed the storyline because now, it's not just about what Karlissa said, it's about what that statement triggered, a conversation that won't die down, a narrative that keeps evolving, and an audience that refuses to look away. So now we're left with the biggest question of all. Is this the peak of the drama, or just the setup for something even bigger? Because if the next chapter hits the way people think it might, then everything we've seen so far could just be the beginning of a much larger storm. Now hold on, before you click off thinking you've seen it all. Let's be honest, UKNOW, this story is far from over. If anything, it feels like we just watched the trailer, not the full movie. Because the way this situation keeps flipping, twisting, and pulling everyone back in, yeah. This is not normal drama. This is premium chaos. And don't act like you're not invested either. You made it all the way here, didn't you? That means you were watching, analyzing. Maybe even picking a side in your head like it's some kind of championship final. One minute you're like, ah, that's cute. The next minute you're thinking, nah, something's not adding up. Yeah, welcome to the club. So now I need you to tell me, what do you really think? Was Karlissa just saying what everyone else was already thinking? Or did she just open a door that should have stayed closed? Drop your opinions in the comments. And don't hold back either. I want the bold takes, the wild theories, the ones that might have people arguing under your comment like it's a live debate. Because let's be real, the comment section is about to be just as chaotic as this entire situation. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe before the next twist drops out of nowhere and turn on notifications so you don't miss when everything flips EGAIN, because you already know it will. This is Fame Flaws, where the drama gets louder, the tea gets hotter. And the truth, yeah, it's never as simple as it looks.